view of the waterway, which is the lagoon or whatever they want to call it, which goes into the bay? And how many feet would that be that would be visible? I mean, you're talking 20 feet at the end, you're talking from the porch out, you're talking half of the 45 foot.
How far? Towards the canal, you go with the fence?
And you're going from up here, aren't they? Which one?
Specific to the,
Not to go to the front yard.
because this is similar, here's is, this is C1 as well. So it's C1 against C, butting up against C1. So I don't know that that's,
The only
we have the
thing,
same requirement. Here we need to be mindful of the neighbor and figure something out.
An 8-foot fence in residential district, that's like moving into a penitentiary.
But I understand, but it's C1 against 8. So you want 6 foot?
That's,
Is that what you prefer?
you know, I think you'd look at a fence that might be a 6-foot with, you really can't put evergreens along there, because you can put them back on that half, but then they're so close to the line.
If it helps, there are 2 trees that actually split the property line. They're pretty good size. So we're going to have to, all of this is trying to alleviate any more, issues.
Yeah, that's what Gary read.
here, and here.
Yeah, I've seen 6 feet between residential and commercial. 8 feet is very extreme. I'm just saying.
There's no problem here.
And down by the bay, an 8-foot fence just seems extreme.
I grew up on the water and I would agree.
Yeah.
The fence only addresses C1 that butts up against R1A. That's it.
Mr. Penix, this is unique in the fact this is still an open, it's still the open hearing. Do you have any opinions on a 6 or 8 foot height?
I don't know what to think, to be honest with you. A tall fence, the block sound would be great, if we lose the view, is another thing.
Well, they're not going, again, at 45 feet
Yeah.
towards the canal. It would
Can we
stop
come up
there.
and see? Can we come up and look at the diagram where you're talking about?
Sure.
At least. So on
This is the
here.
canal. This is the
Okay,
canal.
yeah.
This is 45 feet. Anything would stop short of this. And I think it's
Right
done.
here or right here at the porch. And then everything else.
That same setback as
would be
well.
obscured. Your view would be obscured.
Yeah, all of it.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to see them, they wouldn't be able to see you. I think that was one of the points you brought up.
Yeah.
So,
Well-
and then from here down, if they put a 4-foot fence that.
There is a 4-foot chain link.
Yeah,
4-foot
that's
fence,
ours.
Okay, then the one up this exterior
Protect our
here.
property.
So you already have the 4-foot fence here, they put an 8-foot fence there. You
I
get-
don't want 8 foot, I'm
You'd
not
rather have a
gonna,
6-foot?
like my husband says, God, it's really hard to say, because you kinda gotta figure how tall are these gonna be? I mean, what am I,
Well, they're a story and a half, they're under 20 feet tall, but at the peak of the gable.
how many do they sleep each? Brad?
5, 6.
5 or 6? So that's all you plan to put it out as? Or do you plan to put it out at 10, to rent to 10, or? Well, I've never been in one, so I don't know. You know, I'm asking a question.
Yeah, this is 5, 8.
I just asked if they could
I
sleep.
understand.
And how big
Just
is
try.
it? You know, we've got so much of an area to build on, and it seems like when you've got your setbacks, like you said, that something needs to be done. I
It don't
mean,
matter, we're gonna move.
or inside of these too. I hear that the plans inside of these, the shower's not even under ordinance either for you guys. There's so much more
We're asking
wrong.
your
I get
input
you.
on
I don't know
on
what I
that.
want. How about that? I don't
Well,
know.
I would rather you decide.
I don't
than
have
us
an answer.
decide for you.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna sue this board anyway, so you go ahead and make that decision for me. We'll see how a judge likes that.
Charlie, you're more apt to approve a 6 foot, given the
I wouldn't approve an 8 foot. That's too high.
6 foot fence.
You know, and it says right here, you know, if you're in a residential, and you can say what you want, that that's C1, but in saying that it's C1, you are still in a neighborhood that needs to take into consideration the neighbors, unless we're gonna make it all C1, and then, hey,
Aren't the condos still residential?
they're multifamily, I believe.
But they're not commercial, are they?
No, that's
The
not.
current
commercial.
zoning?
Yeah, the condos aren't commercial, are they?
No.
No.
Then why should they be able to put a fence between the condos and their property? Who supersedes who?
Condos are C1.
No, they're not.
They're multifamily.
They're multifamily, and that whole point is set for multifamily. You know, it was interesting, and I'm gonna say something that was said to me by one of the residents in the township, and they made the comment to me, they said, if this project would have been built first, would a developer had built and invested the money they did, building the condos? And that was a question that was posed to me.
That's a
And
pretty stupid question, I would say.
that's actually a very intelligent question.
Okay, listen, we're getting,
I'm just,
we asked one question of the pennies. This isn't, let's stick to the plan.
Yeah,
Let's get
8
back on
point was
track.
offered, input was offered. Charlie said 6 foot. 6 foot, I have a 6 foot fence. And I can't see over it, so that's a compromise.
Okay. All right, 6 foot to the setbacks. Charlie?
yeah,
Gary's objections have been addressed. Mine, Don's. Deb has none. Charlie?
I still believe that it's an overbuild, and I believe we'll have a problem with parking.
Do you have any specific plan revisions you would like to request?
Not at this time.
Okay. Then I need a motion to close public hearing. Sure.
I just wanted, again, my name is Amy Parisi, 47 Harborview Point. I just wanted to point out again that there's a lot of unanswered questions, mostly regarding zoning. I have a lot of questions about the rezoning, and I still don't know what the rezoning map looks like, and I think that you guys have a lot of questions as well. As Charlie said, it is way too much density, and I just want to point out all of the other commercial one spaces around here. If you guys approve this, you are now going to set a precedence for another developer to buy a .48 piece of property and put 4 units on there. Do you see how much open space is around here? What are you guys going to do with all the stormwater, the sanitary? It's a lot. You will set a precedence if this gets approved tonight. Besides the fact that it shouldn't, because of all the unanswered questions that you guys don't even have. Can I see the tourist zoning ordinance? Because you guys don't have the answers for that either. I will again just say that this should be denied tonight.
Thank you.
I did have one other question. Well, discussion has not been closed. And the question of the validity of this.
I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I think all Justin is saying it's not our fight.
I just wanted on the record, the validity of that document would be the question. that's all. It doesn't say it's an actual easement or anything of that nature. You know, it says that there's a fence, but it doesn't say that there's any type of anything more than that. What's, so I just would like that on the record. So parking density and the agreement question.
We have a motion to close public hearing.
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Are you speaking specifically to this?
Yep.
Sure.
Brad Eddy, 1890 South Huron Road. I feel sorry for both parties here, and I truly, truly mean that. Deb, the zoning that you brought up, it is from 2018. I can guarantee it. Mr. Bragel wrongfully rezoned a lot of properties in this entire township to a blind eye. There's actually documents that prove that, and the county executive signed it, and Laura Olgar signed it. Spicer was the person who took over the GIS system while Mr. Bragel and Spicer were making the changes. When it comes down to this, there's so many things here that are wrong. It turned property that was useless into gold, and it misled people. I totally feel sorry for the people who purchased it, but I totally feel sorry for the neighbors also. I think this is a very wrongdoing, and it's really simple. If Spicer shows us what they have, I mean, for how these properties get changed, they're the ones that control the coloring book. So I think if everybody looks at how this even happened, how it began, that's what everybody, there's a point A, there's a point B. Both sides have been taken, and I really truly feel for both sides. I have tried to be neutral in this matter, but I can only help but feel what it feels like that some of your township wants you moved out. In some of the township, you got neighbors who harass you. I know all about that. And then you got township leaders that really know how to harass you. I mean, and just like with Spicer, Mr. Campbell has a FOIA into Spicer. The board gave him $1,000 to get information on what would possibly be some of these properties. Now, if Spicer's transparent, which it really would be nice, then that $1,000 will be spent very wisely. But every time Mr. Campbell, it seems like, goes to Spicer, he gets, have you talked to the attorney? Have you talked to the supervisor? Somebody's hiding stuff. And it's the supervisor, the attorney, and Spicer. All of these people should want transparency because it has all of our pockets in mind. Thank you.
We have a motion.
You want to ask that question?
Close.
You want to ask that question? Anybody else have anything they want to say 3 times just to make sure before we close it? Are there any other comments?
Are there any additional comments? Are there any additional comments? Are there any additional comments?
I make the motion to close public hearing.
Second? All in favor, can you do a roll call?
Rokas?
Yes.
Rook?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Maho? Yes. Center?
Yes.
Shirley, can you read through the restrictions that
For site 1, because of the grade of the parking lot, there needs to be spillways on both sides of the driveway. Site 3 needs spillways on the north side only. On site, I believe he means 1, 2, and 3 for the lighting. You want it mounted on the building with shades, correct?
what was the correct term?
It's called wall pack lighting with shades.
Wall, what is?
Correct?
Yep.
Wall,
Wall pack, just right, wall pack.
I mean, like wall and then a pack?
It mounts on the wall, it's considered wall pack, it's a type of lighting.
WALLPAK.
Thank you, PAK. Okay, and then for sites 1, 2, and 3, there's a concern that you need written response of Eagle's approval on all 3 sites, correct?
Prior to
Prior to building.
building permit being issued.
And then 6-foot fence on site 3.
Yeah, we should give the,
2 setbacks,
To setback.
correct? That was the
Yep.
statement made,
Okay.
because that way it protects the view of the front half.
Okay, we've got 6-foot fence on site 3 prior, or up to setbacks, 2 setbacks. That's all, oh, well, and Charlie, I mean, I don't know, parking density and agreement, is his complaint, his concerns.
noted in the board minutes. Do we have any motions? I'll make a motion to approve the application with the 3 or 4.
Five.
5?
Well,
Okay.
I consider spillways 2 because it's
Okay.
different. So if you consider it 2 things, then it's 5.
With the covenants listed that you just read.
There you go.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
All those really.
Brooke,
Yes.
Campbell,
No.
Knuckle,
Yes.
Cynic,
Yes.
Ropus.
Yes. Mr. Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
I don't have any other than the ones that was given just before the meeting, in reference to the open hearing.
Anything to add from the board meeting report? Charlie? Board meeting report?
Nothing to add that I know of, other than the FOIA that was approved, the FOIA approved by the board in reference to the Spicer invoices of 2015, and that is being researched to get the documentation that will support the invoices. And the board did pass that, and so we are waiting to get those invoices that will include such things as the July 24th invoice that talks about salvage yard definition. It exists, we just don't have a copy of it. Nobody here does, and so that is why the board made the motion and was unanimous by all 4 board members to get that information.
Planning Commission consultant report. Anything to add from what we've talked about? No. Public comment. Charlie, can you do your hearing?
Just a minute, give me that one back out this side. Okay.
Brad Eddy, 1890 South Huron Road. Short story. 9/11, 1999, I married the love of my life, Lisa Dockett. 2 years later on our anniversary, the terror attacks of 9/11 happened. Little did I know, or little did we know, terror was happening within our township. My father-in-law in 2001 purchased Linwood Auto Parts. Shortly after he purchased Linwood Auto Parts, he had criminal charges put on him. In 2002, there was a master plan created in the township while he was purchasing Linwood Auto Parts. C3, which both my wife and my family had both owned junkyards at the time, and hers a mobile home dealership also. C3 was demolished, gotten rid of. It turned C3 into I-1 without notifications to family members. My father-in-law, Steve Dockett, did something very noble, I think, sticking up for himself and others. He took a mobile home down and placed it right at the DEQ building on Euclid. And in between the state police post, it made the paper. They brought bomb dogs in. They tried shutting them down at Linwood Auto. I know a little bit about what it's like to feel cornered, and I know because I lived it. In 2008, me and my wife purchased Berthium's Body Shop and Towing after there was a casino in Standish. We got a loan from Independent Bank. We actually talked to Mr. Rokas to get that loan. And another couple of his people at Independent Bank. In 2009, my father-in-law ultimately was foreclosed on at Linwood Auto. Mr. Rokas ended up with Linwood Auto. When Mr. Rokas got Linwood Auto, there was mobile homes all over the place. Mr. Rokas recently spoke to me about how he had the DEQ call him, but no charges came to him because they sat there for years. In 2009,
30 seconds.
when Mr. Rokas, when my father-in-law sold me 2 of those office units, they went to our property in Standish that we bought through Independent Bank. Criminal charges were then brought on me and my wife and Eddy Brothers. This will all be on my website called CullenTownship.com. In 2015, me and my wife were buying Dockett Mobile Homes and Eddy Brothers Auto Parts. Charges came out of this building against us. 3 times. 3 times and you're out. Guess what? I stand stronger than that. I'm not leaving.
Additional public comment?
Hi, I'm Pam Schumacher, and can I turn this to address the group? Sure. Okay. I'm Pam Schumacher, and I'm actually from Merritt Township, and I have some petitions available outside to sign, or if you would like to take some with you. And I think everyone in this room can probably agree on the purpose of these petitions, and that is to retain your local township control for wind and solar zoning. We're trying to get a ballot initiative on the November ballot and letting the people from the state of Michigan vote. As it stands right now, if we're not able to get enough signatures and get it on the ballot this November, then Public Act 233 will become effective in November, which gives the state of Michigan Public Service Commission the power to zone for solar and wind, and all of your township ordinances, and throughout the state, every township's ordinances for solar and wind are just void. The Public Act 233 also has setbacks that are 2 to 3 times as close as what most townships allow the residents. And, you know, from hearing, your meeting here tonight, it reminded me so much of when a wind developer came to our township and everybody was beside themselves because they were picturing a wind turbine in their backyard. And Currently, with this Public Act 233, there is only a setback of 1,000 feet from a person's home. That is ridiculous. I have people in the township next to me of Guilford that have a 1,400-foot setback, and they are having significant issues with low-frequency noise. Some have to wear earplugs during certain days when the low-frequency noise is really bad, and some even have to resort to going in their basements that night because of the low-frequency sound. They have shadow flicker during the day. They have flashing lights at night. It's not a good situation in the rural areas, and this affects, people throughout the state of Michigan. And there is a bipartisan effort to get this on the ballot so everyone in Michigan can vote to retain local control and not just have the state of Michigan control it. Because if the state of Michigan controls it, the Public Service Commission will make all the decisions, and they have just a 3-person panel appointed by the governor. And that 3-person panel is the group of individuals that will tell you what goes in your backyard. And you will really have no say-so about it. You'll have the ability to talk, but you won't have the ability to vote anymore. Your board won't be able to vote, and the people in the community will not be able to vote in a referendum. So I have, like I say, petitions available to sign. I have them if you would like to take some with you and help us in this effort to help all the rural residents, and just for the freedom of having township control and not state control. So if anyone could help in this effort, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to be done before my time's up, I think.
Thank you. I skipped an item, I'm sorry, any additional public comment? Public comment is closed. I skipped an item, the zoning administrator's report. It's in your package. Does anyone have any specific questions? Charlie may be able to answer them. Hearing no questions, we'll move on. Next meeting is April 18th. The motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Adjourned at 9:10.
Adjourned at 9:10.